Hey, what's up, guys? Let me see if I can figure out how to rotate this thing around here. No, this is not how I wanted to start my live. Well, shoot, I guess we're going vertical instead of horizontal. Let me get this thing flipped around here. Okie dokie. Hello, this is Adam. We're on our way to Fabtech, and I'm having technical difficulties. Let's see if I can get this thing set up here where you guys can see what's going on and I can talk to you. First live, usual technical difficulties. I'm gonna figure this out though, I promise. Okay. You know that feeling when you're just about to do something new you've never done before, and it's big and possibly life-changing, and you're just super nervous because you don't know how it's gonna go? Logically, you know it's all gonna work out. It's the right move to make. But emotionally, it is very, very nerve-wracking. So if you've ever felt that way, let me know. Give me a like right now, and let me know that I'm not alone here, because going to Fabtech is one of the biggest things I've ever done. This is my first year here. We're new to the industry, really, for manufacturing equipment. So this is my chance to get out in front of a bunch of people that aren't on social media, basically, because most of the guys that I'm realizing that are buying these machines, they're not hanging out on YouTube, they're not hanging out on Instagram and TikTok. They're in their office doing the work and making the money and going home to their family. So Fabtech, I think, is going to be the best way for me to reach this different kind of customer here, and I hope that works out. But I'm still really nervous about it because it's a lot of money. It's super, super expensive to be there. Oh my gosh, it's insane. Some of these guys are spending over $1.5 million, $2 million to be at this show. And either that means they're so successful during the rest of the year that they can afford just to do this for marketing, or it means that they're making that much money at these shows. I mean, you can't possibly be going to Fabtech and spending that kind of money if you're not actually making sales, right? I mean, I hope so anyways. So that's my theory, is Fabtech planning really starts the year before. So I tried to get a booth, what was it, 5 months before the show, and everything was totally sold out. So I got put on a waiting list, and I slowly started getting offers as people dropped out, because I guess that's a thing. But they pretty much booked the whole thing on the last day of Fabtech for the next year. So all these people that are here have been here for years and years, and they have all the best spots all picked out. So I was originally like back in the extension, because they expanded the building, the floor plan, and had more space they built out back. But if you've ever been to Fabtech before, you don't want to be in the back. The back is like where nobody actually makes it, because the show is so freaking huge. You can walk around there for like, I don't know, 3 days probably, and barely just see everything. That's not even stopping and talking and checking everything out that you want that's interesting. So then they got me into Hall C, Hall D, and I just kept saying yes, and eventually something opened up in Hall A. And Hall A is where all the really big budget, big equipment is that I'm trying to disrupt. So I'm gonna be in the back corner of Hall A, and I'm gonna be this little 10 by 10 booth, just basically showing videos, because I can't afford to bring equipment out here. They charge you for absolutely everything. So far, I'm about 20 grand in on the budget, and I'm probably only halfway there in the spending. So I had to rent this truck to bring our booth up there, and I didn't read the email because there was so much. They send you a whole pamphlet when you first sign up for Fabtech, and my move-in time was on there, and I had a chance to change it, but I waited too long because, you know, I've never done this before and I don't really know how it all works yet. So I got a dock time a week before the show. So I'm heading up there tonight because I got to be there at 9 a.m. to check in the truck. And they told me just assume you're going to wait. So there's going to be a ton of trucks up there. I'm going to shoot some content and show you guys like the pre-show. I'll post it to social media. I'm most active on Instagram, but I put the shorts on YouTube and on TikTok as well. But if you guys want to keep up with kind of the day-to-day stuff, Instagram gets the most attention, and that's where I'm most active. The YouTube stuff, I'm trying to really build up here and turn into something, because you guys here on YouTube are more engaged. Like, you guys comment more. I get into conversations with you guys in the comment section, or I've had several people email me and call from the videos, and I just don't get that on regular social media like Instagram and TikTok. People are just there to waste time, honestly. And YouTube, you guys here on YouTube are here to actually learn something, actually connect with people. And I feel like the YouTube people just have a plan or a project in mind, or they're trying to better themselves. Like, you guys chose not to sit down and watch TV today. You chose to jump on YouTube and find something new and exciting and hopefully figure stuff out. At least that's how I watch YouTube. I don't know how you guys do it, but I'm always on here when I need to find an answer. So YouTube is actually how a big part of me building my first plasma table and getting into this whole equipment manufacturing business was I got a bunch of information off of forums and like open source communities for building the plasma table in my garage 10 years ago. And I felt like I needed a way to give back. So I couldn't code. I'm not like a super smart software coder guy, but I could make videos and teach people basically how to build a plasma table while I learned to do it myself. And that's kind of what's happening now with Hero Machine Co. is I am learning how to do this business live on YouTube with you guys and including you in the process. So this whole thing blows up in my face. You're going to be here and see it. But if it's really successful, which I hope it is, you guys are also going to be here to see it. And hopefully that gives you guys some trust and faith in me. And, oh, Doug, you got this? Oh, I see where the comments are now. Sorry, it's my 5. Hi. Oh, that's cool. All right, the comments pop up right there. So actually, while I got you guys on, who are you? That's something I really want to learn more about, is who you are. Like, where are you? Are you working by yourself? Are you working in a team? Do you have a whole shop? Are you in your garage? Like, just let me know a little bit about you guys, because I would love to know more about what you guys are doing. And oftentimes when people call me, I find out their life is a lot more interesting than mine. And I'm always impressed by all the cool stuff that people are building in their garage. So Fabtech is a big deal because it's the largest equipment manufacturing show in North America. They get, I think it's, 1,700 booths? There's 1,700 vendors here, companies that are all trying to sell their stuff. And they get anywhere between 60 and 75,000 attendees. So this is my best shot at getting in front of a bunch of new eyeballs and just letting people know, you know, who I am and what I'm all about. And really it's about getting lasers and plasma tables and press brakes and this advanced technology into more shops by offering a better price. And obviously that comes in with manufacturing overseas and managing that whole supply chain. So if you guys want more info on that, you can check out some videos on the channel. If you scroll down, you'll see my trip overseas and how I actually, you know, kind of met all these people and the steps I take for quality control. So I fly over there every time something is built, and I do the final quality checks myself before it's loaded into the shipping container. And that helps prevent a lot of surprises on my end and a lot of surprises on your end as the customer. When you get the machine, the thing's been checked and gone over thoroughly before it lands in your shop, because that's like the biggest complaint and biggest hurdle I have to get over with manufacturing overseas is everyone has had a bad quality experience, but everybody's also had a great quality experience. If you have any sort of hand electric power tools, whether it be DeWalt, Milwaukee, Makita, whatever your brand is, then you've had a good experience because they can make good stuff. Lincoln Electric, Miller Welders, all the stuff that we use in our shop every day is made overseas. It's just all about managing that supply chain and just hammering them on quality, honestly, because their quality standards just aren't the same as ours. Oh, let's see, we got some comments here from Doug. Doug working in the back of a vape shop with a 3 kilowatt fiber laser, press brake, CO2 laser, Tormach mill, and welding machines. In the back of a vape shop? Is that what that says? Oh, you're going to Fabtech on Monday and Tuesday? Doug, come see me, bro. I'll be there, Hall A. I'm in the back corner. I've got a big yellow booth that's in the back of the truck right now. I powder coated it all in our shop. Bright Hero Machine Co. yellow. So hopefully that's easy to find in the sea of super impressive equipment. But I see I've got 5 people on here. I was not expecting this for my first live. I don't know how 5 people found me, but whoever you are, other than Doug and what's this, Ranton Peril? I'm sorry, I'm driving, I can't read too much. But just hit me a like. I really appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me on the live. Let's see, what else do I got here? Oh, let's talk about like first time trips to Fabtech. What are you guys gonna get out of Fabtech? If you are a welding student, just go to Fabtech. I mean, the tickets are free. The only expense really is getting up there and eating and all that stuff. But if you can get yourself to Fabtech in any capacity, even if you're not even in the welding industry, it is a crazy show because they actually demo all the equipment, like all the big sheet lasers. Mitsubishi last year had full automations. They had a sheet got loaded in their laser, robot pulled it out and put it on a pallet positioner. The pallet positioner took it over to the press brake. The press brake loaded its own punches and dies and changed its own tooling on itself. And this whole entire part went from the laser all the way to the press brake and off and onto a pallet positioner, stacked neatly without anybody touching it. So that's just like one of the things you can see there. You can also demo like cobot welders are kind of a big thing I'm interested in because the robotic welders, you know, they've been out for a long time, but they're really labor intensive to program. It might take you a couple days to design and implement a program for a welding process. So if you've got repeatable parts, you're working in a car plant, that's great. But if you're like me and you're running a job shop where you're doing a lot of custom stuff, you can't spend 3 days programming a welder just to get it welded up. That's like a huge waste of time. So these cobots are now soft robotics where they have basically mapped the voltage feedback in the motors as a safety. And it's a big industrial, well, not a big, it's a medium-sized industrial robot that you can actually work inside the cell with. So the traditional robots, you close the gate, you step your safety switches, and then the machine or the robot goes and welds the part out. But you can't be in there because the thing is so strong and powerful that it'll actually break your arm or chop you in half or do some other terrible activity that you don't want to be a part of. So the cobots, they're called cobots because they're made for co-working. So these are really fast to program. You basically like touch it at the start of your weld, and then you touch it at the end of your weld, and you tell it, hey, I want a 3/16 fillet, go. And then it just knows that it's a fillet weld, and it'll automatically caulk the thing, start over here, do a little wiggle, and travel all the way across. So if you guys want to play with something like a cobot, you can totally come to Fabtech, and they've got some that are just demo machines. They've got like a dummy welder on there that's not actually welding anything, so you can actually, you know, work through the pendant and programming process and see how easy it is to use. I'm sorry guys, the truck is so bumpy, it keeps knocking the camera around. Oh, I don't have enough weight in here. But if you guys want to play with some equipment, it's an awesome show. So my first year I went, I was still really heavy into maker table metal, which I don't know if you guys know about my last business. It's still ongoing, but maker table metal makes retail metalwork stuff for the home, the retail market, and then we have a division that does architectural work for right now we're working on Hard Rock Casino and Hotel out in California. We're building a bunch of stuff for their high limit slot and gaming rooms and their auditorium. But those two businesses are still rolling, but that was kind of the whole genesis. So my first time at Fabtech, I was there because I was growing my social media channel and I was getting sponsorship deals. So I was working with Evolution Power Tools, Nick's Handmade Boots, and Timberland. We had a little thing going there for a minute. And I was doing these, you know, where they give you free swag, they pay you some money, and then you make a bunch of content around their product or service. So my first year at Fabtech, I was just trying to meet more brands and I was trying to sell my services as an influencer, basically. And that was the path that I thought was gonna make a lot of sense for me. But I did enough of those deals and I ended up just like, I want to be genuine and tell people the truth about these tools. And the Evolution saw, so this is now 5 or 6 years ago, so the contract's over, but they sent me this saw and they said it's like a skill saw that you can cut through, I forget what it was, but they said something like 500 inches of 1/4 inch plate with one blade. And so I got this saw, they paid me some money, I started making this YouTube video about how to build a planter using their saw out of some 1/4 inch metal. I was making this cool geometric planter thing. And the blade totally gave out after not even 30 inches of cutting. So, you know, they said it was something like 500 and I get 30 inches and the blade totally roached. So I stopped filming, I email them, they send me like a pack of blades out, and then I'm sitting there making this video, swapping the blades out, and I'm debating with myself whether I should tell people the truth or if I should be good to the company that's paying me. And being an influencer puts you just in this really weird spot where I don't think you can really be genuine anymore. It's like, I mean, not to get political, but it's kind of like the news companies. If they advertise for Pfizer, you know, drug company, which this probably just got me delisted on YouTube because I said that, but they're not going to run any negative news stories against them because that's going to bite the hand that feeds them. So I chased the influencer thing for about a year. And after enough of these deals where I just felt like, you know, I didn't give them a glowing review in the video, but I also didn't totally throw them under the bus either because I was like their employee and paid to give them this review. So anyways, I don't do the influencer thing anymore, but that was my first trip to Fabtech. If you guys are into that, if you're growing a channel, Fabtech is an awesome way because all of the public relations and marketing employees for these huge companies are there on site. So I literally walked around, I had this business card that had a sticker on the back, and I just said, hey, I'm looking for the person that's in charge of PR or your director of marketing or, you know, just some kind of title like that. And when you walk in the booth, they're so busy, they don't want to deal with you. You know what I mean? They've got like 20 people breathing down their neck, asking them questions. So they're happy to pawn you off to the next person. So if you guys want to go and meet the high level people at Miller, ESOB, Hypertherm, they're all there at the show, and you can just straight up walk in the booth and ask for them, and some little minion will search them out and find them, and they'll be looking at you like, who are you? You know, what are you doing? So that gives you a little shot to give your elevator pitch if you're trying to build a connection with some of these brands out there. My second trip to Fabtech, I was shopping for my first laser. And that's where I went through all these lasers and I started seeing some patterns. I started looking in the control cabinets, honestly, is where I was looking. And my most concerning thing when I buy a piece of equipment is actually the maintenance department, the technical support staff. The salespeople will tell you whatever they want to get the sale, but the tech support guys are the ones that are grumpy, they're disgruntled, they don't deal with any bullshit, and they'll just tell you exactly what's wrong with their machines and how good their service is. So I highly recommend you go to these shows and you get the phone number for their technical support line. And before I buy any piece of equipment, this is what I do now, is I call them and I ask to talk to their support. And if their support picks up and they're friendly, and I just start asking them some technical questions about the machine. I tell them that I'm shopping, I'm not a current customer, and I just kind of check their attitude. And that helps me figure out whether they're the kind of people that I want to call when I have a problem. Because whenever you have a problem, you're always stressed out. I mean, it's just like you've got production, you've got employees, you've got a customer waiting on you, you've got a project you really want to exist that you can't make exist because your freaking machine is broken. And who do you want to talk to when you're stressed out? So that's a big tip when you're shopping here, is don't listen to the salesman. Find a tech support person and even call them from the show floor and see how they pick up the phone and buy, basically. So I was shopping for a laser, and I realized that a lot of them were exact same. I mean, not like kind of similar, or they copied the same layout, or they followed a similar path for their schematic. No, I mean exact same PLCs, exact same servo drives, exact same breaker brands and model numbers, same control boards, same collision detection systems, same heads, same resonator. Everything was the same. And that's when I decided not to buy a laser at Fabtech and figure out where all these guys were getting these machines made. So that led me onto eBay and Alibaba, where I started messaging these manufacturers overseas and finding out who they were and what they were about and what machines they built and sold. And I discovered that all of these brands that have these similar machines are getting them made in the same places. So I found the places that these other big brands are getting their machines made, and I sent them my design and had them build me my machines. So, if they can do it, why can't I do it? It can't be that hard. I grew up with a family business where we had trademarks in South Korea. So I used to fly over to South Korea every year with my dad, and we would do an international food show and military food audits. We were selling stuff to the military over in Korea at the time also. And so I was already kind of familiar with this international business thing. So it wasn't really that intimidating for me to go over there and meet with these people and communicate my needs and what I was looking for and get some really good machines built. So the very first laser is one that I had built overseas by one of these manufacturers, and that's really what started Hero Machine Co. is I bought it direct and there was no support. If I wanted to get any questions answered, I had to stay up through the night and be on WeChat and translate, Chinese to English back and forth. And I dealt with all that bullshit and figured out that there's got to be a better way. So I don't want to spend $1 million on a machine, but I also don't want to be servicing it overnight by myself or during the day by myself without any help from tech support staff. So that's where we come in, is we'll offer the tech support. We now know everything that can go wrong with the laser because I've personally broken it and personally fixed it at this point. So I have total confidence that I can keep anybody else running with the laser, especially one of my own design. So after learning those hard lessons, I learned all the weak points in the laser and slowly made improvements and upgrades on my own machine, and that's what went into the design of the new machines. So trip 2 was shopping for equipment. It's an awesome place. You can seriously check people back and forth. You can work bids against each other. You can say, hey, these guys just quoted me this price. What can you do to match that? You can go back and forth with, how fast the machine is, how powerful it is, what their software is like, what the workflow is like. And you can literally just bounce between 2 or 3 of these guys and kind of work them against each other. Please don't do that to me, but actually you need to do that because you need to go around and you need to see these other machines and what they're claiming. And then you're going to come back to Hero Machine Co. and you're going to realize that we have the same thing for... Sorry, I'm back. This camera is being really ridiculous. I think it's just the bumpiness. Hey, what's up, Mario? How you doing, man? Thanks for hanging out. Let's see who else we got down here. Sorry, I got distracted. Oh, Doug, you're gonna come see me? Sick! As soon as it stops bouncing, I can read again. Carrie, pick up a laser welder. I already have a laser welder from Everlast that is broken, and they won't repair it or support it. So I'm definitely gonna look for another laser welder, but my manufacturer that I have actually makes laser welders. So I should probably get a Hero Machine Co. brand laser welder in and test that and make sure I like it before I offer it for sale. Because that's really the recipe, guys, is everything that I sell, I've actually run in my own shop. So I'm bringing in a press brake from a new manufacturer because my old manufacturer was taking money from the Chinese government, which they do a lot of that actually. In China, they really support businesses in a big way by giving them either free rent or they'll give them, I can't remember what it is, I think it's 12% margin back. So if they sell everything at break even, the Chinese government, they can do an application at the end of the year and the Chinese government will give them 12%, and that's basically their profit margin. So any of these companies that take money from the Chinese government cannot export goods to other countries or even parts or components. So that was my original press brake manufacturer, but they take money from the Chinese government, so they're out. I had to find a new supplier, a new manufacturer, and now I'm going to be testing those machines on the next shipment that comes in. So it's sitting at the dock in the Philippines right now, which means it'll probably be here in about 6 weeks. I've got another container on the water with a 12 kilowatt, fully enclosed fiber laser, and the first of the plasma tables. And I'll be doing reviews and putting those together and sharing all that stuff with you guys when it shows up. And hopefully after Fabtech, I'll have, oh, actually the third container is the rest of the plasma tables and I think one more air compressor. So hopefully after Fabtech, I'll have a fourth container scheduled to come to the United States full of machines that people order at Fabtech. But I just don't know what's gonna happen until Fabtech happens. So I'm still in that nervous spot where I really need this to work because, well, because it's super expensive. Oh, that's backlit, that's no good. All right, and then my third trip to Fabtech was really ESOB actually hired us because my other business, Maker Table, makes these cool welding kits and they were running a welding competition. So we make a do-it-yourself Thor hammer kit where we cut and bend all the parts and ship them out to you, and then you can weld your own Thor hammer together. They thought it was a really cool idea. I obviously thought it was a really cool idea because I made it in the first place. And so we supplied the kits for their welding competition. So we showed up to the show to support them, and they actually invited me to be a guest judge. So I don't know if you guys know Ian from Big Tire Garage, but he's had a show on Discovery Channel for, I don't know, probably 15, 20 years. I felt like I was watching him when I was a kid. He builds rock crawlers and stuff and buggies, and he's always doing 4x4 parts and components and these awesome builds. But he was the other judge, so me and Ian got to judge the ESOB welding competition, and that's what brought me my third year. At that point, I was also looking for, you know, more laser information. I really got into a good conversation with Bodor. They're a Chinese company. They're the #1 seller of Chinese lasers in the United States. You know, I don't know why I'm telling you guys all the competition, but it's because I'm not really afraid of them because I know we have a better product for a cheaper price. And that's really the whole point of this, is I want you guys to be the hero. The idea of Hero Machine Co. is not I'm the hero, not the machine's the hero. It's that you're gonna be the hero of the story. So you're gonna be the one that figures out this cheaper, capable machine and prove to your boss, or make more profit because you're making, you know, smaller laser payments every month, or you're gonna be the one that upgrades you guys from a plasma to a laser and totally changes your entire shop, or gets you guys into your first plasma table, which also will change your entire shop. I was talking to Ian at the show, and he just got a plasma table from Fast Cut, and he told me that if he totally went broke and had to restart everything tomorrow with the plasma table, and the next time you need out, you just basically hit go, and it's like printing. Anyway, sorry I'm getting sidetracked here, but I know this equipment is really going to change your shop and the way that you do everything, and I want you guys to be the hero. So anything I can do to make you the hero of your shop is what I'm trying to do. And if you look at the YouTube videos I've posted so far, they're really about, you know, shop rate, how to calculate how much to charge for your equipment, how to bid jobs, how to make money, how fast a plasma table is going to pay itself off versus the laser, which one's cheaper operationally, laser or plasma cutting. And I dug into those videos because that's all the kind of information you guys are going to need to be the hero. It's not the information I need. I already have the info. That's how I've been running and operating my business. But I want you guys to have the same information and the same tool set to go on and be successful in your own shops, because that's really the most important thing to me, is growing jobs and growing talented fabricators here in the United States, because all you guys are going to go on and make products, make jobs. You're going to change the world around you by the stuff that you build. And that's the most satisfying thing about building stuff for a living, is when it's done, you have this physical, tangible product that you can show, and you have this, like, you feel the progress. So I don't know if any of you guys work construction, but if you do work construction, every time you drive by a building that you've built and somebody's in the car, you're like, yeah, you see that over there? I built that. Let's see here. Glace M, how do you make your mustache look like that? Well, you grow it out until it's long and looks really ridiculous. And then you get this stuff called Death Grip mustache wax. And you just put it out here on the ends, you know? You just spruce it up right there. And then it holds, it stays like that all day. Actually, it'll stay like that until tomorrow morning. It's pretty sticky stuff. So that's the mustache trick. Fly WTI, how's it going? It's going good, man. I'm driving. I'm trying to get to Gary, Indiana tonight, because that's 40 minutes away from McCormick Place in Chicago. And it's not too expensive to stay in a hotel there. And hopefully they have parking for this big ass truck, because it's going to be hard to park. But I checked it out on Google Earth, and it looks like it has a huge parking lot at the hotel I'm headed towards. So that's where I'm going to right now, is Gary, Indiana. If anybody's been there, you got any recommendations for dinner or anything? I should be heading there about 9 o'clock, and the goal is to burn all the way through. I say my favorite thing about this road trip is I don't have my wife or my daughters, because they have to pee all the time. I don't know what it is with women and their bladder, but they just have to pee every 40 minutes, it feels like. So I've driven now for, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, what are we at? 6:30, 3.5 hours, not one stop, just powering through. So hopefully I can make it all the way up there in one leg. I've been trying not to drink too much water, and I've been eating salty snacks. What's your guys' road trip go-to? Mine are these dill pickle sunflower seeds. Gives me something to do, helps keep me awake. Salt makes it so I don't have to pee all the time. So, you guys got any questions for me? Let's do a little Q&A. What do you guys want to know? You guys MIG or TIG? Which one is better? Personally, I'm a flux core MIG kind of a guy. I came up in the Ironworkers Union building bridges, subways, dams, high rises, all that kind of stuff, and did a lot of flux core welding with them, and just pretty much just what I'm best at. I know all the tricks, I know the wiggles, I know how to make it work. Well, it looks like the welding question bounced everybody out of here, so no more welding. Hey there, number one. How you doing? Thanks for hanging out. Oh, there's 2 people. Holy smokes. It's growing. We're going up again. All right. We're not talking about welding anymore, I promise. So, yeah, Fabtech just takes a ton of work. The booth, I got a used booth from somebody, and we brought it in the fab shop, and we refabricated it to fit the criteria for Fabtech, because there's all these rules. You buy a 10 by 10 booth, and you get 9 foot 8 inches wide, I think, and then a full, well, not even a full 10 feet deep. You get 9 foot, what is it, 10 and a half inches deep. So I bought a used 10 by 10 booth. We had to chop it all down and reconfigure it. And then in the front of the booth, the first 4 feet, you can't have anything that obstructs the view from other people. So we read through the rules, figured out the hard dimensions inside the booth, and we fabricated this thing. So hopefully the guy told me the truth, because if this thing doesn't fit, I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna bring a freaking bandsaw down there and a drill bit and start refabbing the thing on site to make it fit the booth. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. We should have done enough planning. Then I got some cool banners. I'm making the booth look like a superhero's lair, which I don't know if I think super villains have layers. I don't know what superheroes have. They have a home base. You know, Superman has a phone booth. Batman has a lair for sure. Batman is kind of a weird mix between superhero and supervillain. He's just like a dark, mean superhero. But yeah, anyway, so I'm making it look like a superhero's lair. So as you walk in the booth, the backdrop has like half of a superhero suit in like this cool case. And then there's like a little control command center. And that's where I'm gonna have my screen playing all the, you know, cool shots of lasers cutting and plasma tables running and tube lasers and all the equipment that I have ready to go. So hopefully that's enough to get people to buy the stuff, but the video does it. Doug, are you doing this show solo? No, I'm not doing the show solo. This is 9 days before the show, so I have to bring this stuff up here. And I thought about bringing one of my guys to help me unload it and put it in place, because this whole place is run by union. I think they call themselves the Freemen. Maybe Freeman's the company that coordinates all the union laborers. So you have to pay drayage to get your stuff unloaded and brought to your booth. So I did the math, and paying drayage is cheaper than paying overtime for somebody to sit in the truck with me for 2 days as I drive up there and back, and hotels and food and all that stuff. So I'm just going up solo, and I'm gonna pay the union guys to unload the truck and get my booth into my booth space. So during the show, my dad is gonna come up there with me, and I have a sales rep, Jennifer. She's gonna come up there as well. So it'll be me, my dad, Russ, and Jennifer, the sales rep. Just my dad, because I've worked so many trade shows with him that I know he'll do a great job. He actually works in the shop with me every day. He runs the CNC router, and he does all kinds of weird little projects. So he also has been building go-karts, is one of his like little pet projects. Sorry, let me get this, see if I can get this back on the dash. Might be getting a little less bumpy here. There we go. Oh, 2 hands again. And not less bumpy. So yeah, my dad works with me in the shop every day. And half the time he's actually doing productive work. The other half of the time, he's just kind of piddling around. But he's technically retired, and it's really nice to have him around. He's run his own successful business in the past. So I really like his energy and his advice. He's got a lot of wisdom to share with me. Anytime I'm like worried about a big decision, I can just go over there into the wood shop where he's usually at and just pick his brain. Or when something goes bad, he has a really good way of just calming me down, because he's been through the bad stuff. He's had terrible things happen. He's had equipment break down, people not show up, employees do what they're not supposed to do, have accidents, and he's like, just like my sage. He just calms me down and gives me some good advice, and basically reminds me that it's not the end of the world. Something bad happens, it feels like the end of the world in the moment, but it's really not. You know, you zoom out far enough and everything is going to be okay. So that's probably what I need to tell myself right now while I'm driving up here being nervous, is just zoom out. Overall, if this doesn't go well, it's not going to be the end of the world. If it goes medium, it'll be fine. If it goes great, it'll be great. And you don't know unless you do it. So I've got to jump out there, and I've got to take the risk, and I've got to just give it a shot. I owe it to myself to see what Fabtech is all about. And I've done it as an attendee, so I know how impressed I've been and how powerful some of the connections are. So I'm just going to try and be a part of that this year. And, you know, hopefully it works out. So I don't know, has anybody else ever done a trade show before? I think they're all pretty much the same, just depends on what you're selling is the only thing that changes about them. Or have you guys ever been to Fabtech before? You know, what was your experience there? Because I just think it's fun. Let's see, I wrote myself some notes because I knew I was going to run out of stuff to talk about, and I really wanted to hang out with you guys for a little bit longer. Oh yeah, this really reminds me of the early days when I built my first plasma table. So I bought all these different parts from all kinds of different people, but the controller I bought from, oh, what was the name of that company? It was Command CNC was the name of the controller, but they make gantry kits. Anyways, so every time there was a lightning storm, lightning would strike the basketball hoop in front of my garage, and it would short out the plasma table controller. So it would just stop working every time there was a lightning storm. And it took me 3 or 4 times before I realized what was happening, and then I would, anytime the thunder would start rolling in, I'd actually unplug the machine so that it wouldn't blow up on me again. But I had to drive all the way down to Texas in order to get this controller repaired, because I had orders and I had pressure in my shop to keep that machine running, because everything that I design starts on the laser, or at the time the plasma table. So all my layout is done with tab and slot, or I put little registration marks that show me where to line up the next piece, and it would drill all my holes for mounting brackets. The plasma table was it. So when it went down, I literally couldn't produce anything. So I would drive through the night down to, it was just north of Dallas. I want to say it was like Whitville, something like that. Anyways, north of Dallas. And I would drive down there, and my car was this old clapped out Mitsubishi Galant that had no air conditioning. So I'd have the windows rolled down for a 10-hour drive from Nashville to Dallas. I'd have my earplugs in, listen to some sort of inspirational audiobook, trying to keep me pumped for, you know, the vision and the dream. And I would sit in their office and wait on them to fix my machine. So they said I could ship it down there, but I did the math, and actually overnighting the controller down there and overnighting it back was more expensive than just driving down there myself in my cheap little car. So I would just drive down there every time I needed repair. I'd buy them pizza, and I kind of built relationships with those guys down there. And it got to the point where I could just walk in the back door and they would fix my machine for me in usually about an hour. Oh, the bumps are crazy. And I'd be back on my way. So the machine would go down for about 48 hours. And then I'd come home, plug the thing back in, get it running. And at the time, my best friend Dylan was working with me. He would let me sleep, and he would run the table then for like a good 12 to 14 hours to get us caught back up on orders and everything. So things have gotten easier. I have air conditioning. I have an air ride seat. I'm sitting here live streaming with you guys while I drive up there, and I still have my audiobooks. I was listening to Hook Point on the way up here. So if you guys have any good recommendations for books, let me know. Yeah, I love trade shows, great networking. Doug, what's IMTS? I'm not familiar with that show. I don't know the acronym. I thought about going to SEMA, but I went to SEMA. I used to work at a fabrication shop building rock crawlers. So I got to deliver a truck to SEMA one year, and we slept on the flatbed trailer underneath the buggy that we built. And I actually didn't even get to go in the show. I didn't have a ticket. I was just like the paid help. So I don't know how much equipment they actually sell at SEMA, but I've heard there's a lot of equipment there. So if anybody's been to SEMA and knows about it, let me know if it's a good place to go and market this metalworking equipment, because I kind of think that's part of my target audience. Those are all the people in the automobile aftermarket business, and so they're obviously running fabrication shops and they're using this equipment. International Machine Trade Show. Oh, that one sounds like an interesting one. I'll have to look that up too next. Oh, right after Fabtech? What a nightmare. I wonder if it's in the same place. It's probably not in the same place. I don't know, maybe I could just make like a circuit of it. So go hit Fabtech and then just tear the booth down and then bring everything over. Eventually, next year, I really would like to bring some equipment. It's just crazy expensive because they make you pay for the power. I think, what did I get? I got 4 110 electrical plugs in my booth, and that set me back, I think it was $560. Oh, it's the very next same place? Oh man, all right, I'm definitely gonna dig into that, because if I could just keep my stuff set up or just like move it across the trade show floor, that would be super interesting. I bet that's what all these guys are doing. That's probably why they have them back to back, is, you know, these guys travel up here and then they can get 2 shows in one swing and get out of a lot of this transportation and logistics costs of driving stuff around and delivering it. So I'll definitely have to check that out. Maybe I'll just go up there as a spectator this year. I'm sure I can get a ticket to it. So yeah, definitely need to be hitting more shows. But the lasers, when you bring them, you have to get a laser safety inspection done. So you have to set it up a few days early, and you have to get an inspector to come by and make sure that your laser is safe. It's not going to flash anybody or burn somebody. And they don't have that for any other equipment. They don't have like a plasma table or a press brake safety check or a welder safety check, as far as I know. Lasers are the only ones that have that. And then you've got to pay for the power. I don't even know what the 380, 150 amps of power is going to cost me. You know, I don't even know. It could very easily be $3,000 to $5,000. Then all of your assist gas, you can't really run an air compressor in there. It's kind of too noisy, I would think. I don't know, maybe I could run one of the screw compressors. The show's already pretty noisy. But for your assist gas bottles, you're only allowed to have half full bottles, and you have to buy them from them at an inflated price, and you have to pay them to bring them out. So as all those guys are cutting, they're only cutting on half full bottles, and they're paying just tons of money every single time they have to get that half-filled bottle refilled to keep cutting on the show floor. So anytime you see those bottles on the show floor, I mean, I would imagine they're getting anywhere from $200 to $400 a bottle to fill and deliver them on the show floor. So if you see somebody, oh, Doug, you gotta bounce. Thank you so much for hanging out and commenting. Really nice to actually have a conversation on here instead of just talking to myself. So hope you have a great week yourself. Yeah, so there's tons of money at the show, and I'm the little tiny baby fish here, just trying to make a little ripple in the pond while these other guys are making big splashes. So we'll see how it goes. I am going to go live every single week for the next 4 weeks, Friday at 6 p.m. I'm going to give this live thing a shot. So if you guys want to join me every week, it'd be cool to see you guys again, interact, and, you know, check out the channel. I've got some really cool long format stuff on there. I'll be posting a end of Fabtech wrap up long form video that shows some of the cool stuff that I saw, and also just how successful the show was. I'm going to do a cost breakdown of every single dollar that I spent on the show, and also how many dollars that I made off of the show. And I'll give you guys really the behind the scenes view of what Fabtech is and whether it's worth it or not. But before that, I have another cool video about building a bottle cage. It's a Fusion 360 CAD tutorial, but we're building a really cool, interesting project that'll make it worth the pain to get through to the end of the video. So anyways, really hope you guys enjoy that. Enjoy the channel. If you've been hanging out this long, I hope you're subscribers, because hot damn, Batman, we have been cruising on here for 45 minutes and it's starting to get dark. So I'm going to focus back on the road. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for everybody that commented. We've got 4 likes. That's rad. Happy to see that. I did not expect the first live show to go this well. I was thinking I was gonna be by myself or maybe have one person hanging out. So that's awesome. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And yeah, I'll let you guys know how Chicago goes. Later.